Yes, could you necklace and then can you just undo this? All right. I feel better already.
Me too.
It's all strapped down. Okay, so start with some nice gentle loosening here. So a slight bend in your knees as you may encounter with the top of the shoulders, alternating here. So you notice like on the outside, like as far out as you can go, you get bigger movements here. And as you move more medially, the movements get smaller and they get more centered towards the midline. So it's a nice alternating compression. Using the feet, very lovely for loosening up the shoulders. One thing is with the position of the foot, you can address different muscular attachments quite easily. So if you turn the foot out about 45 degrees and push in, you'll get right into the belly of the upper trapezius. And if you turn the foot out even more, your heel goes right just above the superior angle of the scapula. So you get the attachment of levator, which is a very key muscle in neck and shoulder pain because of its cervical attachments to the transverse processes there of the upper vertebra. Oh man, you're really into it, bro. Doing the elevation, I love it. I'm taking you on all my video shoots. So know that, you know, with this alternating compression and then turning your feet out and letting your heels address the different muscles here at the top of the shoulder. That one just above the superior angle of the scapula is really nice. Gets at that levator very nicely. Lets the shoulder drop a little bit. Pin the shoulders here, and then lift the head just to see how the posterior cervicals are. And we go right into lateral flexion. So here, and the head down, and then pure lateral flexion away. So again, not rotation, but lateral flexion. So the nose pointing up. Nice, sustained lateral flexion. Come back to neutral. Lateral flexion down here. This is called lock position. And the other foot keeps the lateral flexion in place while your hands are free. Support you a little bit so you can just do a little bit more sustained pressure without tying up your own torso. I'm going to be working up the neck here and using the SCM here as a border. I'm not going to be doing any anterior work right now, so I'm behind the SCM. And if you come immediately behind the SCM, you're going to encounter the transverse processes of the upper cervical vertebrae. So sinking in here will help loosen that levator a little bit as it attaches onto the transverse. So if you use the SCM as a bony landmark, and you come just immediately behind it and press towards the center, you'll feel the, let's just say the bony protuberances, shall we, of the transverse processes of the cervical vertebra. So that's a really good way of honing into the attachment of levator. And a lot of times you know, just sustained digital compression is a nice way to release that. I use a good amount of soft tissue work and a few points, but a lot of soft tissue work when I'm doing head, neck, shoulder, clavicle here, uh, where the scalenes attach behind. Yes?
Yes.
3, right? If you laterally flex towards it, place your thumb above it, and then go away, pin and stretch those scalenes. Really helps. And the reason we're opening the muscles so that the meridians that pass through the neck flow more readily. So I'm just putting in right above the clavicle and pinning and stretching scalenes. Now on this side here, now as we start clearing this a little bit, it brings us right up to the occipital ridge and the suboccipital muscles. But there's powerful acupressure points up in here that when they're tied up, they affect the suboccipital muscles. And remember from your anatomical studies how the suboccipital muscles, one of the things is about the rocking and tilting of the head, right? So that you can keep on gauging the horizon so that you go forward in a good way. Well, when they get tight and you start getting off of that, you make all these weird compensations in your upper body and it affects your gait. So loosening suboccipitals is very good for the person to get some extension through their posterior cervicals so that their eyes are more naturally acclimated to the horizon. So in addressing suboccipitals, we look for bony protuberance behind the ear, the mastoid process, and I'm going to curl my finger pads right up underneath the suboccipital, and I'm going to turn the head and rest the back of my hand on the mat, so it's the weight of their head coming down that creates the pressure, right? So they can more readily accept that pressure, and your hand is supported on the mat like this, and your fingers are stacked so that the weight comes right through, so it doesn't put a lot of pressure on the joints. So, you know, some of the same on the other side, you know, feeling the texture or tightness or lack of tightness in upper trapezius and the scalenes and the attachment of levator. So just a nice general working of that area. I thought that was part of the song for a second. I thought they started to chant or something. I was like, oh, it's so nice. Scaling. So stuck here a little bit. You know, I'm working. It's like, oh, this is a little tight right here. So what to do? You know, like I can lean in there, which I know a little bit. It just seems like stuck a little bit. So what to do? Oh, big stretch. Supported occipital ridge. Yes. Use the arm as a lever. Oh. And one thing is, one of the reasons this is happening, because this is happening a little bit, so open, stretch. Try to break that pattern a little bit. What to do? Then right into the occipital ridge. Jackie, what point is this? Remember from this morning?
Oh, gallbladder.
Yeah, that's right, the beginning of gallbladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, head clearer. Look at there ever was one. If you feel this on yourself, I always include this point when I'm working on head and neck. So here's the canthus of the eye, the outer canthus, where the orbit comes together. And just about a finger width behind that, you feel that on yourself, there's this little indentation. You press towards the center. It's called clearing point. So it helps, you know, it's like wind blowing through the clouds a little bit. It makes what is this? Oh, it's a pukalani. It creates pukalani in your awareness, like it lets the sun come through the holes in the sky a little bit and shine some light on things, you know? Nice. Cervical, after this, both sides, some cervical traction, so my hands one over the other. Lean back, so they're hooking up underneath her occipital ridge.
All right, I'm just
Nice
gonna run
traction.
home, and I think I've got the next hour. Hey, can you call my phone?
I will. I've got your number. So nice cervical traction. And this move where your fingers are on either side of the spinous process of the cervical vertebrae and you're starting right at the base of the neck and working up to the occipital ridge.
Do you have a name for that?
No, I don't, but it should be named.
Yeah.
What? The wave.
Yeah,
The
I've
wave.
heard it called the wave.
The wave? Yeah. Let us call it the wave then. The wave. And then I'm going to hook my fingers up underneath the occipital ridge and just lean back. So this is digital compression with the cervical traction. So hooking underneath, leaning back. Still hung up here a little bit, but a little softer. Working. And then, so we come in a little bit more now. So just, you got some general loosening. I just want to continue to loosen up the posterior cervical. So putting the head in stretch and getting your toes on either side of the spinous process and just coming down like this. And just doing these long, deep strokes here, lengthened muscle.
Is that lamina groove-ish?
Yeah. It's I am just immediately lateral of the spinous process. That big toe of mine covers a lot of ground though, so I could be, I could be anywhere, right? But this is this. Look at how that comes down like that. There's a lot of stickiness there. The cervical where it comes into a T1. So then you're like, okay, that's all good. Let's see about the anterior neck a little bit here. So slip your feet underneath. Oh, come on, that's right. The crowd reacts. So, yeah, this is a little something. So it's nice. So feet go in, and then you turn them so that this border of the foot comes up against the vertebral border of your scapula, so it goes like this. And my feet are resting sideways on the mat. So again, the energy comes straight through, so you don't feel a lot of pressure there. But it gives a supported position where it opens up the anterior neck, and also the upper fibers here and the beginning of all the yin meridians, right? We learned. So I just like to have the person be in this position and then just sink in, do a little digital compression here, just to help to clear up the chest and to help facilitate movement of the chi in the yin meridians. Bring the arms back. So my feet are like this. Now I'm going to put them flat on the ground. And I'm going to slide my feet into her lower back. So now my feet like praying mantis. Okay? So it's the arch of the foot that's going right into the natural lordosis, or the curve, supporting that. So again, their body weight coming down on a supported curve. Nice, so they can just let go if they choose.
Your feet are resting naturally, or your arch?
Like this. Well, I put them up there and the weight sort of brings them down. Like,
You're not giving resist.
am I giving resistance?
Are you like pushing up?
I'm pushing up a little bit. A little bit. I think just to help balance the pressure, else my feet would probably fly. Because I only did demonstration do I stay there that long. I'm usually on the move after a little bit, like this. So I'm working my way out now, but this way it gives me opportunity to really create some space. And then my heels are going to come out and hook the head so you can.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, thank you. Let's end there. Where else to go after that? Let's